All right, everyone. Welcome in. It's the Sarah Fraser Show podcast. You know, when you're here, you're a Frasiac, okay? That's what we call all of our followers, all of our fans, the Frasiac family. We are several thousand strong. Love you. Today, we're getting into two major stories. All the breaking news with Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively, and Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively have been seen in public for the very first time since the gag order, since the $600 million total lawsuits that Baldoni has fired off, basically. So what does this public outing symbolize for this lawsuit? We're going to talk about that. And then a TikToker is coming forward who worked with Blake Lively and says that Lively would be on the set. She would rip burps and farts, and she would literally essentially make people feel like they should be lucky to smell her butthole. Like that was, I'm not kidding. Like this is a breaking news story that Blake Lively on sets of movies and TV shows would open rip farts and expect people to be like fine with it. And everyone was like, what? And then when she dated Leonardo DiCaprio, she would come on set. All the producers would tell everyone, don't look at her, don't speak to her. Like huge bitch, apparently. Major bitch. So we have to talk about this hilarious news story that is breaking. Oh my God. Apparently she would reek. She would just like stink up a set. Girl would rip off. How many farts does one have in one day? Hit the hearts, by the way. We're live on TikTok. Hit the hearts. Let me know how often you fart all day. Are you at work just like ripping ass? And what are you eating? Then let's talk about Sister Wives from last night. The Much Ado episode about nothing. People are like, where's the update on Coyote Pass? Like, what the hell was that? So what do you all want to start? Let's start with some Sister Wives, because I know people love Sister Wives. And then we'll get into Blake Lively ripping ass, why most people believe the gag order is not going to be granted. Justin Baldoni's mother has spoken out. His sister has spoken out. His wife has spoken out, what they have to say. And then Candace Owens, the political, commentator, a lot of people believe that Candace Owens is using the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively situation to do a rebrand where she's going to get more into pop culture. And of course, she alleges that she has insiders that are close with Ryan and Blake Lively, and it ends with us, and they are revealing why this lawsuit is really happening, which we'll talk about, okay? So Sister Wives last night, people are just universally tanking as boring. Like how can they continue to do this to us, where they make it seem like they're going to reveal information, and then it is 40 minutes of pure shite. We learn nothing about the sale of Coyote Pass. We learn nothing about the estimation. I don't know how. How are we watching this show and they're not giving us an estimate from the realtor that people always say, I say it wrong, realtor, that it's not worth, because it's tax-wise, it's evaluated at $1.3 million. We know that Coyote Pass, they paid $800 and something thousand for it. There's a rumor online that Janelle settled for $340,000 cash. That's what Robin and Kody paid her, and that Janelle is out of Coyote Pass. Why aren't those rumors being addressed? Because we are caught up. We're getting caught up in real time on season 19. Tada Farms was purchased by Janelle and her daughter in spring of 2024. All right, so now we're less than a year behind. But why are we getting no answers on this damn show? Okay, what do the lawyers have to say? Why aren't we seeing Mary, Janelle actually meet with their attorneys and have their attorneys give advice? Like, to me, it almost seems like, is the attorney thing real? Or are they just saying that for shooting of TLC? But I don't know. We haven't seen, like, what TV show do you know where they don't actually meet with the lawyers? That's usually a whole scene. I'm sorry, I'm on a rant from last night, because the most interesting part of last night's Sister Wives was when Robin talked about her dad, who's not even really her biological dad, who used to be like her uncle. Well, he wasn't technically her uncle. He was like a family friend uncle who then engaged in polygamy and married her mama. And then Father Paul was like her daddy. Now that was the best part of last night, the incest line. When you get down the rabbit hole of how this family has like slept with the brothers and the sisters and the cousins and the mamas and the daddies and the mamas have, like, that's the best part of the show. But one thing that is trending is, does Christine Brown Woolley talk too much about Kody? And people say to me, Sarah, she changed her name to Christine Woolley. Why aren't you just calling her that? Christine herself has said that she will continue to use Brown for promotional things, but her legal name is Woolley. And she's fine with people referring to her as Christine Brown because she has spent 15 years since 2010 on TV. So here's the Reddit commentary that's getting hundreds of comments. Don't get me wrong, says one Redditor. I love Christine. I think it's great that she was the first to leave, that she's the first to move on with her life, and that she's doing something outside of the cult family. But she spends a lot of time saying things like, when I was married to Kody, or talking about her past relationship with Kody and Robin, instead of focusing on her relationship with David. And I wonder if David might be getting tired of the constant comparison. Even though David obviously is an upgrade to Kody, after a while, doesn't it get old? So people are questioning that, and a lot of people agree. They also say that, the innuendos and digs that Christine will do on social media where she ate nachos with David Woolley, it's like, enough already. Someone else writes, everything is fine on YouTube, on Reddit, says, this is her job. This is how she makes money. She answers questions that producers ask in interviews and posts things that drive followers and people to the show. This is how reality TV works. If she wants to keep the attention on herself, she's got to talk about Kody. Someone else writes, BRA writes, if I was being paid a big fat TLC paycheck to shit talk the man who did the nasty stuff Kody did and is still doing, I would do it laughing all the way to the bank. Why wouldn't Christine do it? A lot of people agree with that, but a lot of people find that the constant comparison between what Kody was and what David was has to be grating and has to be getting old. Blueberry says, yeah, I have to wonder if David is just going along with this, or if David is starting to watch the show and realize that everything from the way David puts together furniture to how he allows her to be a co-owner of an Airbnb, every single thing is compared to Kody. It must get old. I hope she doesn't do that when cameras are off. I mean, I can't imagine she would do it when cameras were off. Do we think? Do we think? Anyway, so that's what people are saying this morning. You guys are welcome to weigh in if you watched Sister Wives last night, if you have a hot take about the show. But really, nothing new. Again, they keep teasing. They've done this to us. And again, Janelle and Christine, they've been right that, we would get caught up in real time. And Janelle has said in a recent podcast interview that we are going to find out more resolution with Coyote Pass. All right, but I didn't think, last night would have been a good start. Robin on my TikTok says, look, David is getting a check as well. I don't think he cares what Christine says about David. Cash those checks. All right, let's shift gears and talk about Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively, that I am absolutely addicted to this story. Okay, so first of all, the big breaking news story is that Blake Lively rips ass, burps, smells, and between takes and would talk down to other people on the set. And just, she was horrendous to work with. An actress turned TV chef today has claimed that Blake Lively was horrendous to work with and accused her of throwing Justin Baldoni under the bus because she is used to being adored. Rosella Rago, oh my God, am I saying it right? She's the host of the popular YouTube Italian food series Cooking with Nonna, even accused the star, 37, of flatulence between takes when she was an extra on Gossip Girl. Rosella says that Lively would burp and fart in the middle of set and act like we were lucky to be smelling her farts, she said on a TikTok post, adding that Lively was very unpleasant to work with. I just don't know how else to say it, Rosella says, who has also written a series of cookbooks, claims that Lively's husband, Ryan Reynolds, would bow down at her feet when they began dating after her brief fling with Leonardo DiCaprio in 2011. Does anyone remember that? Lively and DiCaprio dated. She is so used to being adored, and when she is not, shit gets real. And Baldoni has found out the hard way just how real it gets. Miss Lively has found herself at the center of a storm after she tried to insinuate and bring down the reputation of Justin Baldoni, her co-star in It Ends With Us. She filed that civil complaint just prior to Christmas, accusing him of sexual harassment on set, leading to a media storm which has engulfed her and her husband, Ryan Reynolds. It gets better. Rosella says that she worked as an extra in 6 series of Gossip Girl, where Blake played Serena Vanderwoodson in the teen drama. I was a stand-in on movies and TV shows for 15 years, and I worked on the show. On and off, all 6 seasons, she says. I'm going to attest that Blake Lively is horrendous. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. She was a Nepo baby, and when she was 19 and the whole world was blowing smoke up her hiney, it is really hard to keep your head when that happens. She went on, I'm thinking she thinks that she has the right to behave exactly as she wants, and how dare we make a fuss. She couldn't handle that people didn't friggin' like her, and she was looking like an a-hole. She has thrown people under the bus. This guy, Justin Baldoni, has a wife and a family and made out these benign interactions as assault when I've seen the footage, and I think, just go home, Blake Lively. While filming Gossip Girl, Rosella claimed that Lively would rarely speak to extras via a director who told them to be quiet or not move on her behalf. Can you imagine? Blake is here, don't move. On one occasion, Rosella said she gave Blake some script notes in a scene. Oh, hell no. When she tried to be nice, she really has to force herself because I was a normal person, she said, adding that Miss Lively would say, thank you, in the most condescending way. Rosella claims Blake had come back to the set of Gossip Girl after splitting with Leonardo DiCaprio and had a puss on her face. And she was in a very bad mood and was like, everyone on set said, do not speak to her. Blake and Leo dated briefly in 2011 and were seen together at the Cannes Film Festival and appearances in Italy and New York. She had auditioned for the role of Daisy Buchanan in The Great Gatsby, but didn't get it. Soon afterwards, Ryan Reynolds fell in love. But this chick would rip ass on the sets. She would fart. She wanted people to just sit there and smell it. I mean, can you imagine? Let's go to our TikTok lines. AMG. Imagine how if she had the audacity, then how much worse after years she's gotten. Great point. I mean, the audacity to rip ass on set. Cheryl says the women supporting women movement has ended too soon. Well, I think, look, every woman should be heard, but not everyone should be believed. Let's see. What else? I feel like Blake Lively, she's a mean girl. Blake Lively, I could be wrong, but I picture her as just being awful. The farts are my favorite rumor. LM laughed my ass off. I hate losing respect for Ryan Reynolds. Look, this is my theory. I was just speaking to my husband who loves Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds is not going to be impacted. His image is not going to be impacted. Deadpool films are not going to be impacted because the audience that is following this Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, It Ends With Us is me, is you, is all the women out there. Women, fabulous gay men. Most of the people who are, I don't care about Deadpool. You think I give a rip? I don't even know what Deadpool is or the costume. It's so weird to me. Like what? I don't even know the premise of Deadpool. I couldn't care less. I watch a few Marvel movies because of my husband, but I don't follow any of that. Let's see. Also, Angie says that Blake Lively is not a good actress to be acting like this. She comes off as annoying. The texts were so embarrassing. The Khaleesi text is the most embarrassing thing I have ever seen. If you're not familiar with it, she messages Justin Baldoni. She compares herself to Khaleesi, who's like a queen in Game of Thrones, a fictional show, and compares Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift as her dragons, and essentially makes this veiled threat that, I have these dragons and, for the most of the time they work for good, but sometimes they're always there if I need them. And, but if you come along with me, you'll have the protection of my dragons. You think poor Taylor Swift wants to be dragged into this mess? She's going to the Super Bowl, okay? I wonder if their friendship will survive this. But Ryan Reynolds' career will not be hurt. Now, before we get to the latest news that is happening over the weekend, which is Justin Baldoni's mom speaking out, his sister speaking out. His sister hasn't even been active on Instagram in over a year. His wife speaking out. Before we get to that, Candace Owens getting a ton of discussion over the weekend for being, I guess, the one whose theory went viral that Ryan Reynolds is actually the one behind this lawsuit. That Ryan Reynolds one day popped up on set. He wanted to review footage of the film and he lost his mind. This is the rumor, okay? He lost his mind. He went into the dressing room. He and Blake Lively had words. People on set said they heard a fight. And a lot of people feel that what he witnessed on camera was Blake and Justin getting a little too close, okay? And we know that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds had also met on a movie set while Reynolds was with Scarlett Johansson. Blake Lively was dating her former co-host. So there's, it's a touchy subject, right? Okay. So Candace Owens comes on and she says she has some inside knowledge that really this is about this is about Ryan Reynolds. That yes, Blake Lively is an awful person who will rip ass and wants everybody to smell her farts. But oh my God. You know what? When my takedown happens, I can't wait to find out what sort of bodily, function they say about me. You know what I'm saying? What are they going to say about you? Mine is going to be I have the worst armpit odor. When my takedown happens and they're going to be she would come to work without deodorant. Bitch would smell like a Subway. She would sit next to all of us and she would expect us to take in her nasty ass turkey sub smells. That is what they will say about me. And they're not wrong. They're not wrong. You can come back to this podcast episode. But don't they always come up with a bodily function thing, Ooh. Their breath was halitosis breath, honey. Yep, that twat smelling like you know what. They always got something to say about your body. You know what I mean? Anyhow. So Candace Owens goes viral for essentially saying this lawsuit is about Ryan Reynolds. He didn't like the chemistry. He didn't like the way that Justin Baldoni was taking control of the set, and that Ryan and Blake are the stars. People better know it. People better bow down. Ryan Reynolds is a narcissist, an absolute control freak. Now there are rumors coming out about their marriage that at first he's kind of a love bomber. Ryan Reynolds is allegedly was bowed down at the feet of Blake Lively. Once they got married, then he became very controlling about the roles she took, what she wore, their PR people, this, that, and the other, their image. And so this is about essentially they wanted to take control, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, of this film, the narrative of this film, the future rights to these Colleen Hoover movies. Boom. Okay, that's why they're doing it. This is what Owen says. Now, people have said, is Candace Owens rebranding herself as a pop culture expert because she is now taking this on? I don't know. This is very fascinating to me. Very fascinating. Maybe Candace Owens will. If you go to her TikTok, she's doing a deep dive on these two. She's also now, I don't know what else she's taking on. I feel like there's another pop culture story I saw over there. But anyhow, she's giving very detailed takes. I'm not sure if I buy that this is just a Ryan Reynolds takedown. I think these two are meant for each other, Blake and Ryan. I think they see themselves as Angelina and Brad. I think they see themselves as taking over Hollywood. And I think they literally, for lack of a better analogy, don't think their farts stink. I think they think that they really controlled this movie. And I think they feel that Baldoni maybe didn't suck up to Ryan as much to kiss their asses. And I truly think it's about ego. I think this is about ego. Now, again, we're hearing that, they want the gag order, meaning Blake and Ryan's people. A lot of experts are saying they're most likely not going to get the gag order. All right. They're not going to get the gag order because who leaked all that stuff to the New York Times when that was supposed to be a closed complaint? Well, it was her team, honey. So going to be very hard to put the toothpaste back in the toothpaste container. So I think that Blake and Ryan are meant for each other. I think they're meant for each other. And they were also just spotted out in New York City. So what does this mean with their latest outing? What it means to me and what it signals to me is that they don't we have a long way to go before they're going to drop this. I mean, this is billionaire versus billionaire. Because we know that Steve Sarowitz, who owns Wayfarer and is really the money behind Justin Baldoni, he's the one putting up all the lawyer fees for this. He's the one coming after Blake and Ryan for the 200 million against the New York Times, 600 million against Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively. So this is sort of billionaire against billionaire because Ryan Reynolds is worth $400 million. All right. I mean, once you're over 100, ain't it all the same? It's just a matter of a couple of zeros. But they seem to be, while Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' team are pushing for that gag order for the very first time, the couple was spotted out in New York City looking quite calm. Ryan Reynolds was seen with Michael Maroney and Blake Lively. Now, Maroney, I think it's Maroney, or it could be Michelle, but I think it's Michael Maroney. And it was Lively's A Simple Favor 2 co-star. They shared a photo together over the weekend on Sunday. Missed you guys, love you, Maroney 34 wrote over the photo, tagging the pair. Lively and Reynolds were seen for the first time together amid Lively's lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, snapped standing on either side of Maroney as he had his arm around Lively. Reynolds reposted the photo on his Instagram stories and tagged Marone. The Italian actor, okay, so I think it is Michael, stars alongside Lively in the sequel of the 2018 comedy thriller A Simple Favor. Did anyone even know that Blake Lively was working this much? I mean, the only film I've ever seen of her recently is It Ends With Us, and I never would have watched it without this controversy. I think this signals I think their law team, their advisors are going, look, Baldoni's in Hawaii. He's got his shirt off. He's taking pictures with people. He's cool as a cucumber. Of course, I would be too if people were paying my lawyer bills. You know what I'm saying? Like when people are paying your bills and you in a lawsuit, you ain't got no cares in the world. I'd have my abs out, tits out. I don't really have abs. You know what I mean? I'd have my rolls out, my tits out. Like I'd have it all. I'd be like, hell yeah. I ain't got to pay the $100,000 a month lawyer fee. So I think Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively's team has said, get out here, get out there, get out in the public in controlled environments. Now, we're already hearing they are not going to be attending the Oscars. Most likely they will not be at the Oscars March 2nd. Of course not, because they'd be subjected to, they're not going to show up to places where there could be somebody asking questions. But I think they want to come off cool as cucumbers. If Ryan Reynolds is being described the way Ryan Reynolds really is in real life, controlling, narcissist, doesn't like to back down, wants it his way, we have a long way to go before this hits a settlement. A long way to go. You're talking about people who are not running out of money. At first, I thought, poor Justin Baldoni. I mean, how is this man going to, he's going to call the law offices of Joe Bornstein or something, because what's this man going to do? Then I saw he's got like a billionaire backer. I'm like, oh, we're in it for the long haul. And everyone believes we are in this now for the long haul. So I think they're out and about. They're making it look like we also are just as cool as, Justin Baldoni. Baldoni's been taking pictures with fans. I think these two are going to start taking pictures with fans. They did their own co-hosts. Okay, hit the hearts. Let's go to the TikTok lines. Hit the hearts. Hit the hearts. What do you guys all think? Oh, give me your messy theories. Weigh in. Weigh in. You think Candace Owens? You think Candace Owens is going to be the new Entertainment Tonight? What do we think? What do we think? Guys, can we nickname this Baldoni? Nash says, I agree. Justin is out. So they're trying to get out too and seem like they're calm about it. 100%. I think they're freaking out behind the scenes, but I think they want to appear cool. I wouldn't be surprised either if this is my next prediction. I think in 2 weeks, they'll also be at the Super Bowl. You can go to the Super Bowl and you can avoid the paparazzi. I think they'll be sitting with their pal Taylor. Now Tay may want to avoid this, so maybe they won't. But I would say if I'm going to see them next, I think it will be at the Super Bowl because they can control that. Crystal says, I'm hoping that Justin Baldoni comes out of this on top. Ashley says they did control the whole movie. Crazy thing was they got everything they wanted. I know. They say Anna hated Blake in Simple Favor, surprised at the sequel. Well, money will get you to do that because, you only got to work with them for a little while. Someone says, I never thought that I'd actually agree with Candace Owens, but here we are. And 800 called Joe. Meg, I thought that that Justin Baldoni needed to call Joe Bornstein real quick, but he don't need Joe. He don't need Joe Bornstein. He got Brian Friedman. Brian Friedman is a badass. You ever in trouble and you got $100 million, you call Brian Friedman. That man is a genius the way he's laying this out. Let's talk about what else is very genius as well, right? So this is about women, sexual harassment, people being made to feel uncomfortable. Well, over the weekend, and I think this is Friedman. I think this is Brian Friedman. I'll tell you why. It was Justin Baldoni's birthday. This is why he is out and about in Hawaii. Well, Baldoni's sister has now broken her silence. Now, is this a coincidence? Ain't no coincidence. It's that we want the support of his mother, of his family, because if you can't get the family on board, then you know there's cracks, right? If the family's turned their back on a narcissistic, sexually harassing asshole of a man, what are we going to do, right? But in this case, we've got the girls on board. The mother's come out. The wife is doubled down on standing by Baldoni. Now, this looks... you got 3 women here putting their names on the line saying this man is a good man. Justin Baldoni's younger sister has been praised and praised her brother. It ends with us actor and director's dedication to the truth amid his ongoing legal battle with co-star Blake Lively. In her first Instagram post in over a year, Sarah Baldoni shared a photo of the two of them embracing in celebration of Baldoni's 41st birthday. "Happy birthday, JB," she wrote in the caption. "I love you and I celebrate you. The man you are, the love you embody, the strength of your connection to God, the essence of your being, your dedication to truth, to service, and to love, today and all days." She added, "I'm so proud to call you my big brother and annoyingly squeeze the hell out of you until the end of time." Fascinating. Now, she ain't even popped up on social media for an entire year. That wasn't until she got a phone call from Brian Friedman. "Hi, Brian Friedman here. Top Hollywood attorney. You want your brother to win this? Get your ass on Instagram." On top of that, the post comes after Baldoni's wife and mother spoke out. Emily, his wife, also broke her Instagram silence to honor the Jane the Virgin alum on his birthday. "Happy birthday, my love. Celebrating the man, the husband, the father that you are. I'd choose you again and again." See? Now, would you choose an abuser, a sexual harasser over and over? She wrote alongside a photo of them and their 2 children at the beach. Baldoni is currently being sued by Lively, as we all know. Now, his mom also comes forward to discuss to basically talk about his character. Sharon Baldoni wrote, "Happy birthday, Justin. Remembering a wonderful moment after the final ending of Jane the Virgin, a moment where joy and love permitted the set, where friendships and family were born and kindness and integrity permitted the hearts of all the actors and crew, where sadness only entered because it was the final scene of a wonderful journey." So, Brian Friedman, the man working, like I say it all the time on this podcast, the guy's home burnt flat in the Palisades, but he's working overtime. He doesn't even... People are looking through mementos. Brian Friedman, he looking through Instagram. Okay. I mean, what an interesting throwback by his mother, evoking emotion from the set of Jane the Virgin and calling upon all the seasons that he worked there, all the people that he was beloved by, apparently, and he loved, the crew, the actors, and the only sadness on that set was the final scene. Now, let's go on. "A happy, loving, and generous memory with hearts exploding with possibilities. Life has its moments and also its surprises. As you keep your integrity through all, justice and truth will shine today and into eternity. I love you more than you will ever know. Happy birthday, my beautiful boy. May God continue to bless you in truth." Oh, what a blow to Brian and Blake. Oh, their lawyers saw that this weekend. Oh, God damn it. 3 women in his life that love him and double down on his integrity. Ay vey. I mean, this is not good news for the Blake and poor Blake and Ryan. All they could muster up was Michael Marioni. In New York. Michael, could you take a selfie with us? Make it look like you're thrilled to see us. Can they get anybody else coming out? Well, hold my beer, because they do have somebody else coming out. All right, hold on. Let's go to the TikTok lines. Love says, "Justin never had issues with any fellow peers, but all of a sudden he's a problem to Blake. Okay." Presley says, "I don't understand. What we've seen so far is so far from Blake's version. Why is she still going on, I see a divorce in their future. Later, Blake will come out and say she was in an unhealthy marriage. I don't think they will. Because I don't think his career, it's like, I think they're ride or die. I think they're in it. They have I think they have 4 kids, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. I don't think so. I think that they love the smell of their own farts. I think they lift up each other's butt cheeks, rip ass, and they love it. His career is going to be bigger than ever. You wait. Look at Brad Pitt. Look at Mr. Pitt. Okay, Brad Pitt has not been affected at all by allegations of drunken abuse on a private jet, a nasty fight. It's just it's different audiences. I'm worried about Blake. I'm not sure she'll work again, but then he's got the power to put her in things. And Hugh Jackman, Hugh Jackman will put her. She'll be on Broadway with Hugh Jackman and his new girlfriend. She's tied to Ryan for life. They're not divorcing because they'd have to admit it was all a lie. I think when you've got 2 narcissists and 2 people who just don't think their farts stink, I think they feed each other. I think and they may in their mind believe that they're winning because their law team is probably going, don't worry, we got this. Friedman's a mess. And maybe they have a smoking gun. So, okay. What now it does look like this past weekend. I mean, they're crapping their pants. They're crapping their pants while they're taking this picture with Michael Marioni. Okay. Because 3 prominent women in Baldoni's life have come out and evoked emotion, integrity, brought up past people, and reminded the world of what a great guy this guy is. Now, do I think that Justin Baldoni is a cheeseball? I do. I think it's weird. I do. I'm sorry. I'm not one of these people that's like, I support all women and, men should support all men. And, I like all these guys are like, let's champion all women's rights. Like, okay, let's just pump the brakes. Like, if you're a good person, and we should be doing this for just universally, for equality for all. I don't know how we're on this. Sorry, I'm not going to get on board anymore because I've learned over the years, these people that come out and they make all these proclamations of how they're a girl's girl, they're the ones that fuck women over the hardest. Same with like men. Oh, I love women. And then, they don't. So he's a little cheeseball to me, but that doesn't make him guilty of sexual harassment. Okay, it doesn't yet. We don't know. But this was very interesting. The intimacy coordinator continues to get a lot of press because the intimacy coordinator essentially admits now this is okay. I think this was strategically placed by Lively and Ryan Reynolds' team. Okay, because this intimacy coordinator did not work on the set of It Ends With Us, but she does say she reviewed the nearly 10-minute video that we've all seen that shows the 2 stars slowly dancing at the bar while Baldoni's team, claims it serves as evidence of an amicable relationship. Lively's attorneys agree that it shows unwanted touching, supporting her allegations of sexual harassment by Baldoni. Mia Shader, who was not involved in Colleen Hoover's adaptation but has worked as an intimacy coordinator on shows for FX and HBO, says the first thing that she noticed is he's trying to kiss her, and they clearly haven't discussed that ahead of time. She goes on to say she thinks the footage is damning, even though she wasn't there. She says the scene in question is described in the script as Lily and Ryle slow dancing in the bar, patrons around them drinking and watching sports, completely in their own world, as Shader explained. There is no mention of kissing. However, Baldoni just went for it. She pulled away, and then he did it again. His failure to communicate is pretty damning, both as an actor and a director. Now, a lot of people feel this woman's a plant. The intimacy coordinator doesn't believe either of the actors are lying. Instead, she attributes the conflict to professional disagreements about the scene and what it should have looked like. Okay. So there you have that. You have to decide if you think that woman's a plant, if she has a decent point. I did think that. I've got to say, it doesn't look good for Blake Lively, but I do have to say that scene, Lively did not look that into it. She did look uncomfortable to me, in my opinion. And at the end of it, he yells cut, and he is like out of there and away from her as soon as possible. I thought they were very good actors because they seemed to fake their chemistry more in that scene. I thought if it showed me anything. And that scene actually for me disproved the rumor that maybe they had fallen in love. I thought it became very clear in that scene they were not in love. I'm just going to say. That scene to me showed me that, no, I don't think they're in love. He didn't seem into her whatsoever, but she did seem uncomfortable, I thought. And you guys think Lively was so into him. She was totally into him, people are saying. Didn't she not want to meet the intimacy quarter when he asked in the text messages? I do believe that is correct. She was trying to control the entire thing. Now, the other thing, my friend Zach Peter has the No Filter podcast, very popular. About that video, Zach Peter reminded me, I just did his show the other week. You can go listen. And he said about the intimacy coordinator, the thing is that, that scene is when they're falling in love and when Justin Baldoni's character, Ryle, is sort of beginning to bring her into his manipulative web. He's like kind of love bombing her. Zach made the great point of course that scene is meant for her to like not be comfortable with Ryle yet, and Lily pulling back and not sure and sort of opening up and falling in love, but not being there. And I thought, fantastic point, my friend. Great context. Someone else said, we must have been watching a different angle because my daughter noticed that Justin Baldoni barely touched her body. Read the scene in the book, someone writes. Okay, well, what was the scene in the book? Was it that? I didn't read the book. I'm not going to read the book. So, how's that for? And by the way, I'm not reading the book. I've seen the movie, which I thought was fantastic. But what does it matter what was in the book? Because they did an adaptation for the movie. So all that matters is how they wrote the movie scene, really. It doesn't matter, even though it's because we know that the movies aren't always completely accurate to the book. Someone says, Nicolette says she was supposed to be uncomfortable in that scene. I've only read the book. The scene in the book is he is kissing her neck. Ooh! Someone says, what does it matter? It matters a big deal, is what you guys are saying about the book. I understand. But then they bought the rights to the book. They write an adaptation for the film, and it's not going to have everything exact to the film. So, you have to know, like, what was that scene supposed to be like? She knew Ryan was going to see the dailies. The dailies, by the way, are what Ryan apparently, just popped on set and all of a sudden looked at. And the dailies are basically all the different scenes that they filmed. He went through it and then apparently did not like the chemistry that he saw. That really set him off. Excuse me. Ryle is obsessed with her neck tattoo in the book. It's a big part that they wouldn't leave out. You don't need to read the book, right? Look, that's what I thought too. I've done many lives now about these two, and people say the book is not particularly that great. All right, look, I have to love you and leave you. This is the latest news on Justin Baldoni and Ryan Reynolds. While you're here, go over to my podcast on Apple, The Sarah Fraser Show. Leave a 5-star podcast review. Hit 5 stars. Tell me what you love about the show. And you know what? I was going to wait until February, but I love you guys so much on TikTok. I love you here on the podcast. When you write a 5-star review, take a little screenshot of it, slide into my DMs on Instagram, on TikTok. I will mail you a free coffee mug on the show. Okay. It's on the house. It's on us. I appreciate you guys following my live, giving me hearts, coming back. I love your commentary, and like you guys make me think, and I think you make the show so much better. So go to Apple Podcast, hit 5 stars. Tell me what you love about the podcast. Boop. Take a little screenshot, slide it into my DMs with your address, and we, over the next few weeks, will mail you a free Sarah Fraser Show coffee mug. You're officially a Frasiac. All right, everybody, we'll be back tomorrow because another terrific YouTuber that I follow now has the theory that Colleen Hoover deleted her Instagram to specifically protect Blake Lively. So we're going to get into that theory. We'll see what Candace Owens comes up with over the next day and if there's any movement on the gag order. But I mean, this is like better than television. You don't know what's going to happen day to day with all this nonsense. All right. Bye, everybody.